Good afternoon, guys. This is Leo here, CEO and founder of Leo Lee Educations. Welcome to another Leo Lee show. And in today's podcast, I have here with me Mr. Vu. He is one of our most recent success stories with our job coaching program. And the reason why I bring him in today is because I want him to share with you his journey with us and what has he learned. But most importantly, what can you learn, our viewers? What can you learn from him so that you can also be able to land a professional job in a short period of time? But before we start, thank you for joining us today, Vu.
Thank you, Leo.
No worries. Okay, so for those who do not know about you, can you just quickly maybe introduce a bit about yourself in about 5-6 sentences, a bit about your study, your background, and where are you right now?
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vu, and I'm a mechanical engineer. So my journey started, so I actually did my bachelor in Finland before I moved to Australia to continue my master's degree at the University of Melbourne. And I graduated in 2019, end of 2019. After that, then I went through 2 jobs, and unfortunately, both of them I got made redundant due to COVID.
Okay.
So,
unfortunately, tell them what you study. Specifically, what do you study?
So I study as a mechanical engineer. So basically, throughout my whole journey is like from bachelor up to master degree. It's still focused on still specializing in mechanical engineer. Even though like it's a very broad field, but yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So where are you right now? Where do you live at the moment? Where are you right now?
I recently relocated from Melbourne to Adelaide about 3 months now. So it's been quite a challenging period, especially when you like know no one in a new city, and then you have to you migrate it down here and then start to look for work and like make new connections. That's extremely challenging.
Got you. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing. So and I think that there are a lot of our viewers, they also considering doing the same, which is to relocate from Melbourne to SA for very similar purpose, which is for permanent residency. And to get that, one of the biggest challenge is professional job, isn't it? To get a professional work. So tell us, how do you get to know about us in the beginning, and where did our journey start? How do you get to know?
I just came across like Leo just through Facebook ad. So I think like Facebook did a really amazing job in terms of their algorithm in suggesting, or if there's tricks behind it, I don't know exactly. Yeah, because it's not my area, like in the computer. So so I watched Leo, like one of his recent podcasts at that time, like, and there was like one guy, he also a mechanical engineer, and then there was another guy that a civil engineer, and then both managed to find a job, especially with the case with the mechanical engineer. His case was kind of similar to my case, was that his his TR is running out, and
no, he don't even have TR.
So it's like it's kind of close. So like my TR is running out, and his already ran out, and he had to go back to student visa. So that was sort of like my pathway eventually. That highly likely I wanted to go back to student visa.
Got you.
Yeah. So that's why.
And you see the similarities, and that's why you're like, okay, that maybe he can help me as well, isn't it? That's what.
And then also especially like I know that in Australia, like to get jobs, you need to have like good networks, and like other than that, like here in South Australia in Adelaide, like I came here with no network at all. Like how do I tap in like to the job market here?
I got you. So that was a big
Yeah.
challenge for you, right? So so bring us so let's just talk to us about the challenges now that we are talking about challenges. So what do you think are some of the biggest challenge, maybe top 3 challenges that you have that you think maybe other international students might have the same issues as you when it comes to job? I'm talking about professional jobs.
So I think well, I mean, it's a bit hard. It's just, I think like the main challenge is that because if you compare yourself with the local students, the only distinguished factor is that you have a limited working right, especially when you study. But then after you graduate, like with the 485, the 𝗪𝗪𝗔𝗟𝗘𝗡𝗚𝗦 visa, at least you like usually you have like 2 years of to find a work, and I think that's enough. But with my case, it was much more challenging because I only have 18 months of like to allow to find work, and it's also happened during the COVID period where so that sort of like so it's definitely, especially I lost my first job due to COVID. So it's a mental point in like the reality hits in that, like you cannot never plan beforehand. Like I think like COVID just make everyone realize that like thing can unexpectedly happen. Yeah.
Exactly. So what was your first job? So people can get an understanding. What was your first job? You don't have to tell the name, but briefly describe to them what was that first job about.
So my first job, I got it through the internship program from University of Melbourne, and then after that, like after graduation, and I talked to my direct project manager, and he was willing like to give me an offer, but it was more like a part-time role at that time. So I was working part-time as a graduate mechanical engineer in a furniture design company. So we would doing like from designing from the scratch or like deal with clients, and then we have like our own in-house manufacturing facility so that we can do mass production in there.
Okay. Yeah. And then once you got fired because of the COVID, what's next? What was after that? What happened after that?
What happened afterwards is that I just like everybody else, and also during that time, like that was the period where Victoria is the only lockdown state in the whole Australia.
Oh my God, make things even harder, huh?
Yeah, make things even harder, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. So so I gave myself like a period of time just to like settle down a bit, and then build up and looking for other works. And yes, and then on my second jobs, actually I got it like through LinkedIn. So I contacted the HR directly, and and then they got back to me, and then things just happened at that time that they like the office was just open, so they still hiring new, like they still seeking and recruiting. So they're willing like to give me a chance, and I got interviewed by the director of the office. So and then I landed the job.
And then why do you leave that job, or what happened to that job?
So it's the company itself is actually an international company. They and they just so they decided to expand to Australia to utilize the 𝗪𝗪𝗔𝗟𝗘𝗡𝗚𝗦 sort of like a aftermath. So like a lot of like GM and staff that were left redundant, so they just basically employed most of the people there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was that, but then still again, because it's international, and over here, like in Australia, they're only responsible for the engineering development. And like as a car manufacturer, like there's a lot of like that. It's a long journey, and there's also like vehicle prototypes that you need to support, and because the people here in Australia, the majority, they like the major play force in terms of like the designing. So, and with border lockdown, it's like people cannot even like go back to like people between the two countries cannot like travel back and forth. So the owner of the company, he decided to close down the office or restructure the whole company.
Wow.
So
and then you left redundant.
Yeah, left redundant for the second time.
Wow. And how long was what was the gap between the first time and the second time? How many months difference?
It was it was supposed to be, so my first job, the first redundancy was in March 2020. And the second one, I got a confirmation, like a letter, like an offer letter, actually in August, but because they were waiting until like the Melbourne like to open and start opening before like so that because they want me like the induction period to be in the office. So like they kept delaying, but until like there's no point of like we can't expect like for the office to be open. So then my actual employment started in October 2020.
Okay. Wow. It's like a Hollywood movies, huh? A lot of up and down. Okay, good stuff. Now we're going to talk about the up. Now we talked enough about the down. Let's talk about the up now. So you met us, and then you joined our program. So can you tell everybody what was, because obviously you learned a lot from the program, you benefited so much from the program, but what were maybe top 3 things that you have learned from our job coaching program that you think that more people should have learned to better get a good job? What would you say? 3 things.
Let's see, the top 3 things. So the first thing is that you need to be strategic in terms of how you look at a job ads is the first one. So by being strategic, I mean, of course, that you look, and like most people would know that you need to cater your cover letter and your CV for according to what the requirements they look at, the employers look at, like advertise on SIG. So and so that is like everyone knows, but like not a lot of people do it. So that's because the reason why people don't do it often, because it's require a lot of time and effort to cater your CV and cover letter. So like to overcome this sort of like amount of effort, because people would prefer to go to the easier path. So to overcome this one, like the number one, or like the solution that through Leo's program is that you call directly to the employer regarding the job ads, because once you call, then you also need to clarify a lot of information that you need. That will also so like through that conversation with the employer, first don't know about you now, second you get the information from it, and you also like can qualify whether or not you can satisfy the job requirements, as well as like the employer is actually suitable for you. Then you can decide later on like to prepare your cover letter and CV, because actually so the number one thing, the number 2 is that your cover letter and your resume is actually doesn't worth that much if you go through this route.
Oh, that's a fantastic point. Explain why you say that. This is a great point you say. Good point. Why you say that?
Because like, so through Leo's program, I managed like to get 3 interviews, and most of the time you come in, they actually don't read your cover letter or your resume. They only scam it. So so it doesn't make a difference whether or not like you try to follow the conventions that try to spam all your experience or the relevant experience in a 2-page, or like try to stretch it out like to 6 pages. It doesn't matter, because they only scan through it.
Exactly. Is there anything else other than that you think that maybe you were like, wow, this is awesome, this is good, this is something new? I didn't know that before.
So I mean that is and the final thing is that by doing this one, you also tap the door into like the untapped market, like the market where you require to have networks of people. So like the hidden jobs, because that is something that I realize is the most challenged part where I moved from Melbourne to Adelaide, because I established my life like in a new city and I have no connection here, no network here. Yeah.
Good stuff. So you were saying the first thing you said was that the whole cycle, the whole process of looking for jobs is very new. Like the one that I teach you is completely different from what you were told to do, which is to apply on SIG and then to fix the CV and cover letter and then just finger crossed and then apply, right? It's all about being strategic. And in this case, which bring about what we did was we actually call the employers first. And to gather information. And then the second part you say was, I really like that, which is CV and cover letter is too many times it was overrated. It was too overrated. In reality, employers, like you said, they hardly even spend 4 or 5 seconds on it. They probably just quick. So that's why the approach that we took was extremely important. And the last thing is the untapped market, which is what I teach you in the program, right? The 90% of the jobs. Can you tell everyone about the statistics that I told you and how that statistic changed everything, the perspective about job market? Remember the statistic, the 90%?
Yes. So like Leo said, that's like the jobs that you see on SIG or like in LinkedIn, that usually it will only account for 10% of job markets. And the 90% is actually they are hidden or they like a prospective, and like they were still like in the sort of like the transition phase before it become the available ads that you can see online. Because the whole process, like from like they know that they need people and they have to like they need to spend time like to create a job descriptions, and then also have to find the right recruitment agency or even like the right sites to put their ads on, and then also have to like using through there a lot of like the amount of applications they have to skim through is huge. Like it's, I think like on average it's like 250 applications. So you imagine like as a HR person, you only have 8 hours per day. And you have 250 applications you have to skim through.
Too much, isn't it?
That's very tedious. Like if I give, just imagine yourself and have to read through like 250 applications per day. Like would you want to do it? Definitely not.
Exactly. And that changed the whole dynamic of our approach in our program, which is I teach you that we have to focus more on the 90%. In saying so, we do not ignore the 10%, but we actually, on top of the 10%, we also look at the 90% as well. And that's what we did for you. Now, just now you said you got 3 interviews, but it's important to tell everybody in what period of time you got 3 interviews, because they will be shocked. Can you tell people how long?
So I started after I start the program, Leo's program. So within 2 weeks, I managed like the 3 interviews, and I got a job offer on the 3rd week.
And tell them what happens. You go for the trial. Tell them what happens recently.
This also opened up like a sort of like a new sort of like perception in terms of that. Like most people don't know, or I think it's just like people don't know that there's like beside probation period, which is usually like inside the contract. Some employers, especially small companies, they also prefer to have like a short-term period, like 1 to 2 days or even a 1 week trials, which happened to me that I was given like 1 week trial. And Yeah, and then after the 1 week trial, because during that time, of course, the 1 week is a very short time for you to be able to showcase how you can bring values to, like, more like learn about and then be familiar with the standard operations procedures inside the company. But at least you shows them that your potential and your values, how you can bring it, and then your hunger to learn. So like that's what I achieved to do during that 1 week. And
Nice.
after 1 week, then I just got pulled in the meeting office and was asked about how I felt during the 1 week. And
Of course I felt good.
yeah, and before and eventually they're willing to offer me like a 3-month probation.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I mean the result that we got within 2 weeks, 3 interviews and 1 job. I mean, do you think you would be able to pull this off without my support? Do you think this would be possible?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not, because there's a whole lot like of mental mental obstacles behind it as well, not just the actual challenge in front.
The mental block, huh?
Yeah,
you need someone to help you with that, huh? Okay. Can you walk us through how do we get this job? Because I think people would be very curious. How do we actually get this job? Like what was the process involved? Because it was very fast from the beginning to the offer. It was a very quick process. Tell everybody what actually happened.
So the company, they actually themselves advertise on 2WEEKS for a senior role, and of course, like we sort of like we didn't want to like leave it, like, because they require more senior role, and like I don't have that much experience yet. So we still so with Leo, then we call to the employer to like follow through with all the qualification and to understand a bit more regarding what they're looking for from their company, from their viewpoint. So, and
do you remember who we talked to? What was that? What is that lady position? Who is she?
She's she's an admin. She's admin receptionist. Yeah. So and through that call, and then we apply all the needed information and then we still went and applied directly for the senior role. Obviously, I mean, of course, they'll still prefer like someone who can come in and do the work like straight away, which is like the quality that the admin, she emphasized quite a lot during that conversation. So given like, but because it was like one company in a lot of like in a list of like 20 30 companies that we apply, so like so we not really like put emphasis on it in terms of like the expectation. And unexpectedly, I think 2 weeks ago, then I got a call from them to come in for an interview for positions. And I sort of
position, right?
For a position, not a senior or the one I applied for. So which was interesting. And when I came in, as I expected, it was for a graduate project engineer, because they were like in the middle of like restructuring their company. So so because I already sent in my application beforehand, I have also reached out to the team lead. So that's why I got their attention and was probably one of the first choice that they wanted to go through before they have to they start putting ads on 2WEEKS.
Exactly. Maybe let me just elaborate a little bit so people can actually fully understand what happened. So during the call, we were talking to this lady. She was the admin, as Wu said, she's an admin person. And then I was qualifying her and I was saying, have you hired graduates before? I understand that you need someone with a lot of experience, but have you hired someone like a graduate before? And she said, yes, we have hired. Indeed, we just hired, maybe just recently, a few months ago. But again, to us, it's a good thing, because what that means to Vu is that if they have hired 1 graduate, they can hire another one. That is just a matter of time. It's just no doubt. So in the beginning, he was a bit reluctant to apply, obviously, because of the fact that, you know, she keeps saying that they need someone who can come in and rock and roll right away. But we still apply. And I think the fact that we actually talked to her, who I think that's really make a lot of difference. Yeah. Because she actually said that at least what she can do is she will shortlist you, at least for the interview. That's what she said on that day. Yeah, because she was helping the main person with the picking the right application, right? Yeah. She said that she was not sure if you will get picked for the job, but she said that at least she will pick you as a shortlist for the interview. Yeah. And the rest is history. And then we got the role, which is worth mentioning that this role is not advertised. Yeah. Which is something that most people don't understand, that most of our students in our program, the job that they got was not advertised. Yeah. Because why do you think it's so hard to get a job that is advertised? I mean, it's still possible to get a job advertised on SIG, but why do you think it's so hard to get a job that is advertised on SIG, purely on SIG? Well, why do you think so?
Because there's, I mean, like there's like, as Leo will say, like on average, there's like 250 applications on it. So imagine like you won like that, that's already like a probability of like 1 out of 250. That's like the minimum, the average one. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to compete with them. And also depend on like how early you send in your application, like the application will like, it will be compiled in a list. And then usually if they look through like the top one, and it's already meet their requirements, they will not look further down. So there's a lot, there's a lot of obstacles along the way if you apply just through SIG, because the thing is that you're not in control of, like, you make sure that they receive your application. The first one, that's the first one. And the second one is that even they receive your applications, you cannot be sure that they will look at your application.
Spot on. And that's why I think maybe you can agree with this, that many people apply for hundreds of jobs, but in reality, probably only dozens of them actually being read by the employer. Yeah. The rest probably they don't even read it. And then they keep saying, oh, there's no jobs. Of course, there's no jobs, because the approach is completely wrong. So which is fantastic. So so we talk about that. So now that you're in the job, so how do you feel? Do you feel you good? You feel you learn something? You pick up something new every day? You got something from the work?
Yes, of course. Like it's compared to my previous work, it's a bit different in terms of like it's a bit less technical. It's more about managing people and that sort of stuff. So there's also a huge chunks of like commercial side that I need to learn. So it's definitely, there's like space to grow, and then also like things to learn and then to master, because I would say, like generally technical roles, like it's of course it's demanding, but the scope of work is usually a bit more narrow because you're a specialist. Whereas when you have to manage people and manage like in other aspects within the project as well. So my role, forgot to mention. So my role is actually a project engineer. So with the project engineer, like a lot of civil engineer, they will understand like that you need to require like to manage contracts and also to scan and also manage people. And there's a lot of requirements in there, because especially when you deal with legal things, it's something that you don't want to like, you
gotta be very careful, huh? You gotta be careful.
Because if you miss something, things can go and bite you at the back later on.
So I guess you got to be extremely focused at work, huh? Yeah. Be very focused. You don't want to make some funny mistakes. Now, which will bring me to the last two questions here. The first one is this: what do you think was some of the misunderstanding that international student, or maybe you in this case, that you got before you joined our program about looking for a job? Some major misunderstanding that really have cost you a lot in terms of getting a professional job. in a quick manner. What was some misunderstanding you have? Maybe top 2 or 3 that you didn't get it.
Well, like I guess probably like I already have a skeptical before, like when you apply on SIG, that your application is less likely to be read. And it's, I mean, of course, it depends also on the regions. Like if you apply like in big cities, then you have a lot more job roles to apply for, then there's like a higher chance for you to be read by a lot more companies instead of like a small city. So yeah, I guess it's just more like a reinforcement of like my skepticism, like of that applying on SIG. It doesn't help you, especially with small cities.
Yeah, because you always think that, or you suspect that apply on SIG is very difficult. And it's even more true after you join the program, that I've told you. That it's literally very hard if you just depend on SIG, right?
And the second one, it's like very minor. I think it's still like a lot of people also, like it's they think that their visa, being on a visa, they're like at a disadvantage point. And then at my case, definitely it's disadvantage because my TR is running out. But obviously, like you have other ways to work through it. Like depending on the employer, some of them actually don't care because they really have a need for people who can jump in and do the work right away. So they're willing to look past that point.
So before you joined the program, you thought that my visa could be a major blow to my my ability to get a professional job in South Australia, isn't it? Because your time is running out. That was what you thought, which is, I believe, many students have the same thoughts. But as you see in the formal program, and you are one of the guys who got the job, you seen that our students get job even though they're on student visa. Not even got 485. So the fact that you still have 485, that already helps. But again, it shows, like what you said, that employers, they will hire you if they feel that you are good help to the company, and they don't mind compromising that. Is there anything else other than the visa and the SIG that maybe you will, or maybe you think that other international students have misunderstandings about?
Well, then I think like the final part is that is your experience, I guess. Your experience. So I mean, of course, like if you look up and then like at big companies, there's definitely going to be a lot of requirements, and you need to be like brilliant in order to get into those companies to work for them. But the majority of the job markets, there's a lot of roles that once you go to work, you don't actually touch a lot of your technical skills, because because at uni, what you're required to do is you have to like focus on like small problems, but there's a lot of like other aspects you actually don't touch on. And
good. So what you're saying is uni makes it seems more difficult than what it should be in reality. In real life, sometimes it's not as hard as what you learn in uni. Is that right? Is that how you feel? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Technical issue. Nghe được không?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. I can.
Okay, good.
All right,
okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Technical errors, guys. No worries. Okay. Probably the last question. So we talk about misunderstanding. That I believe your misunderstanding, other students have the same misunderstanding, and through our program, I believe that I have help you a lot in clarifying these misconceptions.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just put it. The last questions here is, what were some of the takeaways that you think that we have done, or what sort of support that you have seen we provide you throughout the process that you really like, wow, I didn't know that he actually go that far to help me. Was there any support from outside that you really fight very hard to find somewhere else?
So yeah, I mean, it's probably the first one is like your cover letter and your the cover letter and the resume. I mean, of course, they are the most two overrated components, but it's still the two components that usually like you need to have. So, and Leo helped me like every application that I have before I send, like you look through it like very carefully and then provide me the advice. And it's good like to have an assurance before you send in your application.
Yep, CV and cover letter. Obviously, that's something that I told you that every time you apply, we have to customize and I have to review it. I have to check it. Is there anything else that you feel like my support was really meaningful and really make a lot of difference to you?
And the second one is that he re-emphasized like you are accountable for your own success. So you need to do and follow through and then be diligent like in your job hunting, because just treat it as a full-time job.
Exactly. If you treat it otherwise, you will never get it. Is there anything else, or that's that's the two that you feel like that you like, wow, this really worth it? Is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think that's probably the two main points, and the final one is like it's just opened my eyes again, different like a new strategy in terms of like job huntings, where like of course you spend your energy to find jobs, but you need to spend it wisely, because otherwise it will not bring you the fast result that you want.
Yes, good sum up. And I think that is really sum up perfectly. What we do here is to show people the right strategies, and I think Wu has been a great example. I just want to make sure everybody understand that he's a smart guy. Yes, he speaks good English. Yes, he has a little bit of experience, but same as others. Okay, he's not like the only one who has that. So what makes him apart from others is his approach to the employer. So in our program, what we did for him was we actually helped him with the call. We call the employers, and I think we have a great time on that day, huh? Rank the employer, and we just rang, I think, how many employers? 5, 6, or 7, or something like that, or 10?
Yeah, around 10.
About 10 employers, and we have probably 3 or 4 very good feedbacks. And out of those 3 or 4, he got 3 interviews and 1 job. Imagine if he can do that 10 times of that, he can pick as many jobs as he wish. Okay, but obviously in this case he's happy with the job, and I'm happy too, so he shouldn't be too picky, otherwise we'll be doing this forever. But the moral of the story is you got to change your approach. Do not blame that your visa is the reason you don't get a job. Do not blame your lack of experience or your lack of good English or whatever it is. All my clients have those issues. I mean, Wu is not a typical client, but he speaks good English. Most of my clients can't even speak good English. For sometimes I can't even understand what they're talking, and still they are engineers, still they are accountants. So moral of the story is it all boils down to the approach. Would you recommend this program to your friends, Wu? And why do you think people should join this program and get a professional job?
So like this program, I think it's a lot of things like it's about the skills and the experience, and that especially Leo, like he tried and tested all these things before he came up with the program. So the reason why you join it is that to help you faster in terms of finding your job. And it's like job hunting is something that you need to do, but it also very intimidating, especially if you spend months of like just applying and then hearing no feedback. It's very moral defeating. Yeah. Just imagine talking to a to a wall, like days in and days out, like, and hearing no feedback at all. It's a psychology game.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we do for people. So thanks for today, Vu. I appreciate you coming in, and I hope that you will impress them. Okay, do not think that now you got the 3 months, you're all good. Okay, we have a lot to go. So work on your game. Always, I tell you all the time, communicate, and never underestimate the importance of relationship at work. And I think this is what maybe some Asian students have hard time with, is they too much focus on their work, and they tend to forget to have a good relationship with their colleagues. Because at the end of the day, you still on probation, you still have another 3 months. So make sure you have a good terms. You have a good terms with your colleagues. Be nice to them. Be professional, and I'm sure you'll be a great asset. Okay, so keep up the good work. I'm happy for you. I'm very proud with our achievement. You are my third Vietnamese students. No. Sorry, 7 Vietnamese students. I have nearly 100 plus. You are the 7th one, so you are very rare.
The lucky 7.
You are special. Most of our students, you know, they are from a subcontinent, right? So very few are from Vietnam, funny enough, even though I'm from Vietnam myself. But congratulations, keep up the good work. Tell everybody about us. Tell everyone that there's someone out there like us who can help, because we are not the average career coach, as you can see, right? We do not just fix CV and cover letter. If it's just CV and cover letter, there are millions of free websites. You can fix it up there. Right. It's a lot more than that. Thank you for today. Have a good weekend, and I wish you all the best. Okay, stay in touch.
All right. Thank you, Leo.
Bye bye.